Would you look at all these different Warhammer editions I've got here? I got these out recently, and I've been kind of reminiscing about all the different editions. And for this, I'm kind of just wondering about 10th edition. I got the 10th edition handbook here, but this doesn't really have the main rules. I know the main rules are free, but I haven't played 10th edition yet. And you may notice I don't have 9th edition book because I skipped 9th. Obviously, we had the shutdowns going on. I didn't get a lot of games in at that time, basically any at all. And I was working on World Eaters for Horus Heresy mostly during that time. Just getting them painted up and fixing them up. And yeah. So how is 10th edition right now? Because I'm seeing some mixed opinions on 10th edition. On the one hand, I get that it's been streamlined in a lot of ways, but there's, I don't know, like I really like vehicles having a separate profile than, having everything is in toughness and saves and stuff. I like the AP system of these editions better, like 8th ed and on, where it's actually a modifier to saves rather than just basically 7th and anything before, except maybe even the earliest editions. I'm not familiar with first, second, or third, really. But yeah, the AP system in the new editions I like that better. That is one thing I like better. I do like some of the streamlined gameplay stuff. They bring back independent characters because I really didn't like in 8th edition. They had the character keyword, and then that meant you couldn't shoot them if they were the closest, but they didn't really join the unit. I had a particular moment in 8th edition where I had a bunch of Khorne Berserkers and I had Karn, the Betrayer. The Khorne Berserkers charged and they reached the destination, but then Karn got stuck sitting behind. And it's like, well, I like it when the character attaches to the unit. So that is something I kind of miss. But the thing that's really putting me off 10th edition is just I don't really like stratagems that much as a concept. Now, I know in this we have reactions. It's not quite to the level of stratagems because the reactions are kept pretty toned down overall. But yeah, like I liked the command point reroll and I liked the stratagems at first when it was just a few stratagems. But as 8th edition went on, it got so out of hand with the updates, the supplements, the chapter approves, and every faction having dozens and dozens of stratagems that I don't know, it just became such a gamey sort of headache to me. I didn't really like it. It pulled me out of the immersion of the game quite a bit. And just doing all these stratagem combos, it felt like a card game, kind of. And I really like the sort of simulation of war aspect that these editions had more. Now, I know they're just games. It's not a simulation. I've seen simulation war games that are like, you have to take into account the wind direction and all this like super uber detailed monotony. But yeah, I'm not really liking the customization of the units in the new editions. Like, what is that about obliterators? Like, you can only take them in groups of 2 or 4 or something. I'm not sure if it's obliterators or chaos spawn or something like that. But it's like, well, I have them in 3s. Why is it suddenly you can only take them in 2s? That's kind of seems a bit scummy on GW's part. So I don't know, is that some trick to sell more models or something? And then like the war gear options are just kind of like, oh, get whatever you want, I guess. So I don't know, there's a lot of like things about this new edition that I don't like the sound of, but on the other hand, I want to get the models on the table. I've been counting up what I have in terms of armies. I've got World Eaters for Heresy, Imperial Fists for Heresy. I've got Chaos Space Marines for 40k, Space Marines, my own custom chapter. I've got an Imperial Guard army. I've got an Orc army, a Tyranid army. I've got Eldar, which I sold, and now I have Eldar again, which I got to get back to work on eventually. So it's like I have a lot of 40k armies just sort of sitting on the shelf. Should I just like bite the bullet and play 10th? Like, at the end of the day, you get your models on the table and roll dice and have fun. Maybe, you know, the minutia of the rules maybe don't matter so much, but it seems like it's become a very, how do you put it? Like competitive player focus. There's like the FAQs and updates and just a lot of very competitive sort of attitudes surrounding the game. I'm probably am going to give it a try anyway, but I'm stuck here on trying to get myself to play 10th edition. One thing I've actually been doing, I'll take you for a quick tour over here in my basement. So you can see I got my old codexes up on the wall. This was my first book ever I bought, 4th ed. I think this is actually a 3rd ed codex, if I'm not mistaken, but I bought it in 4th ed. That was my second book. 5th edition, 5th edition, 5th edition. And then if we go over here, I got all my 6th ed armies, Chaos Marines, Space Marines, Astra Militarum. Like, I collect all these armies. I have an army for all of these. My Tyranids in particular, I'm really excited to continue to paint and show off more of those. Especially with all the Helldiver hype. Although Helldiver's in a bit of turmoil right now, but that's another story anyway. Yeah. So I've been thinking of trying out. In fact, I already did with my one of my friends. I tried the Tyranid army against his Horus Heresy Iron Warriors using the Heresy 2.0 rules. And these books actually work pretty well with that edition overall for the most part. You got to tweak a few things here and there. But I liked the way these books were organized way better. I don't know, there's been a lot of playing around and tweaking with rules just lately that it's been fun to experiment. But at the end of the day, I think the lesson is just you got to get the models on the table and roll dice and have fun and just go in with an easy attitude. But if it's this constant FAQ, chapter approved, you got the new stratagems for this, that competitive attitude going on, like, you know, where's the fun in the hobby when that's the focus? Personally, for me, I've never enjoyed painting more. I love painting and thinking up stories for all my models. I've been loving 3D printing. I've got my fortress I've been doing. Obviously, I got my old video, or my last video was on the fortress. So that's been a big focus of mine too. But yeah, what is the vibe of 10th edition right now? Because as an outsider looking in, as like a veteran, it's not looking that appealing to me. But I think if I just tried it, I might learn to like it. I'm not sure. I'm stuck on that. So give me your thoughts on what you think of 10th edition so far, and maybe we'll get a game going here.